Great beginning of our fiscal year because we've got some really important things that we need to hear today from our attorney, Joshua Gerstin. Can everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, well, we have my Executive Vice President, Arnie Katz, is going to come up and just announce some of the special guests here that are not going to be speaking, but they're special guests.
Good morning, good morning. Now can you hear me? Wow. Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. Happy September. Let me announce all the guests that are joining us this morning. Ed Saul from Commissioner Mayor Sachs' office. Christian Wright from Commissioner Woodward's office. Amy Ebersbach from Palm Beach County Tax Collector's office. Andrew Watt, Palm Beach County Clerk of Court's office. Javier Pena from Supervisor of Elections office. Amy Chamberlain, aide to Representative Skidmore. Gariana Ingram from delegation aide to the Palm Beach County. Miles Osborne, Lake Worth Drainage District. Mark Freeman, State Attorney's Office. Lieutenant John Wing from Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Major Chris Keene from Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Casey Denny from Palm Beach County Legislative Affairs Director. And Roger Michaud from Palm Beach County Property Appraiser's Office. Thank you all for being here. Welcome.
Great, okay. Well, it's been an exciting summer. We had a great July meeting. Who was here for the July meeting? Wasn't it fun? Wow, we had all these giveaways. That was great. The summer, lots were happening. Read the newsletter that you receive in the mail, hard copy, and also by email. Read that because lots happening. But even it doesn't even get into the newsletter yet. More things are happening. For example, who here, raise your hand, if you would like to have your trash pickup decreased to once a week. Raise your hand if you want. Okay, raise your hand if you want to keep your trash pickup at 2 times a week. Yes, okay, well, we should put that camera around and show. Don't worry, we see. It's a unanimous, okay, so we let our county commissioners know that. Our county commissioners sit as the Solid Waste Authority. We let them know it, but let them know that there's going to be a survey going around from the Solid Waste Authority. So be sure, if you are one of the people who are surveyed, make sure you let them know how you think about and other things that they ask. Great, we have important people giving us important information right now. We have Captain Sant. What's the matter?
Now.
Blame it on him.
Yeah, why?
Whenever you'd like me to start this, I will.
Good morning. I guess you can hear me. Thank you, Dr. Benaport. I'm going to save this to the end. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it'll be quick and painless. So, how was everybody's summer? Was it fantastic? Was it great? Good? Fantastic? Everybody's as tan as I am, right? All right. So, hey, listen, you guys know I'm always blessed and fortunate and eager to see everybody every month. Everybody's in good spirits and good health. That's what we pray for, right? That being said, I was really eager to see you this morning because I have really good news for you again. If you guys noticed a pattern over the last 6 years I've been with you, I bring good news, Lieutenant Wink brings bad news. Hey, rank has his privilege. I paid my dues, right? So let's start off with a little quick recap. Operation Heatwave. You guys remember it? It was fantastic. I hope you do. So we covered before the summer break, all the analytical workup and work that went into identifying the spots that could be most productive to us in lowering the crime rate over the summer. And I'm here to tell you right now, I'll spare you, for the sake of brevity, I'll spare you the details of the line item enforcement efforts because they were very deep. But I will tell you this. Overall auto thefts and auto burglaries throughout West Delray Beach, over a 9-week period of Operation Heatwave, we crushed it. We're down 70%. Wow. 70%. Come on. And that applause I'm going to extend, really, and I have to do this, that applause I'm going to extend to the deputies, the detectives, the street crime units, everybody just pitched in. And I will tell you this. Over your left shoulder, you'll see a very large man wearing a badge. Right? He's a very friendly man, too. That's Captain Byron Smith. He's a fantastic human being, let alone a fantastic captain. Known him for many, many years. I've worked with him. And he's the newly appointed captain up in Boynton Beach. If you haven't met him yet, there he is. He's here to see you. He's a man of few words, so he probably won't speak here, but there he is. Right? I also want to give, please. I also want to give some credit where credit's due is to our regional major, South Regional Major Chris Keene, because for the guy that stays in the shadows, and I mean that with all due respect, the guy that stays in the shadows, he's the one behind the curtain that makes sure we have everything we need, short of Sheriff Rick Bradshaw. We have everything we need to keep this ball rolling, and he's a huge supporter of his district captains, and that's why I can present you with numbers that I present you with. Hard stop. Lieutenant Wake works pretty hard too, but don't tell him I said that. Right? Last but not least, well no, I shouldn't say that. Street level crimes, the other number I want to share with you too, as a peripheral byproduct of the effort. Not only did we knock out 70% of auto burglaries and thefts, the street level crimes, which is a nuisance to us, we destroyed at 49% reduction over year to date, over the operation, so great work. All right, car crashes, big topic, traffic. We know, I want to report to you, the beginning of the year made me a little nervous. We were up about 4 or 5% on the year. I don't like starting the year with car crashes in the positive for the obvious reasons, because I care about you all that much. I don't want you to get hurt out there. I'm here to tell you this, not only did we knock out that 4% positive, we've drove it down 6%. So I'm not really good at math. I did good in college, but not particularly in math, but my estimates, that's a 10% reduction, right? 4% up, 6% down, that's a 10% reduction. So I'll only take credit for the 6% we're down, but I'll give all credit to you by listening and slowing things down for me, all right? So thank you very much. All right. So I'm going to leave you with that. I will see you next month, but before we go, Dr. Benacourt is going to play a video for you. And the video is how grandparents can avoid being scammed. It's about 2.5 minutes, well worth your time. Where the heck are you going anyway? But I really want you guys to watch this, all right? And if there's any questions, please, we have an incredible VAST unit. Any questions, any presentations you want through our VAST program, please just let me know and we'll get it done for you. Thank you so much.
Hello?
Hi, Grandpa. I was in a bad car accident and I'm at the police station. The police are saying that I need to pay for the damages or I'll go to jail. I'm scared and need your help. Please don't tell my parents.
Wait, it doesn't sound like you. I can't hear you clearly. Your phone is breaking up.
My phone is breaking up and I have a cold. I was in a bad accident and I need money for damages.
You were in an accident. How much money do you need?
Wait a minute, who are you talking to? What's going on?
It's Randy, our grandson. He's in trouble. I can only hear every other word.
Oh, jeez.
He's scared and he says he needs money to pay for damages to someone else's car. We have to help him.
The officer wants to talk to you.
Put your phone on speaker, please.
Hello, I am Deputy Ron Smith. I am investigating your grandchild's case. To secure his release and cover the damages, we need a payment from you immediately. The fastest and easiest way is for you to get gift cards. Please go to the store and get 2 $500 gift cards. I'll stay on the phone while you go. Don't say anything to anyone. Then you can just give me the numbers when you get back into the car.
No, this is not right. This sounds serious. It feels odd. Why would a deputy call us and not call Randy's parents? And when did deputies start handling gift cards and asking for money? Something's just not right.
But what if it's true? What if Randy really is in trouble?
All right, I'm gonna call the house. Hi. We just got a strange phone call from Randy that he's had an accident and he needs money. Do you know where he is? Oh, good. He's home. He's with his parents. This is a scam, and thank goodness we double checked this.
Yes, thank goodness we do.
Hello, my name is Mark Goodman. I'm a corporal with the Volunteers Against Scam Team.
Hi, my name is Ron Sim. I'm a lieutenant with the Volunteers Against Scams team, representing the Sheriff's Office in Palm Beach County.
Always verify with another family member if you receive a distressing call. And remember, it's okay to ask questions and to doubt.
Try mentioning a name other than your grandchild's name. If they repeat it back to you, you know it's a fake. Just hang up before you lose any money from this scam.
If you set up a code word, your family can all use it if something like this happens again. Together, we can guard against deception and keep our families safe.
And remember, scammers prey on your emotions. They are master manipulators and try to rush into something. As Sheriff Rick Bradshaw says, gift cards are for gifts and not for payment of anything else.
You can sell this $5 spatula on Amazon and compete with hundreds of other spatula sellers.
Okay, thank you, Captain Sand, for that, and all the other officers. Thank you so much. Do I see Dave here? Great to see you, Dave Arenberg. Yes. He'll be speaking in a few minutes. Right now we have Tony Keeler. Chief Bill Stansbury couldn't be here today, but Tony Keeler, our HOA and COA representative from the firefighters, is here.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Just want to thank Dr. Lori and the Alliance for giving us time to speak today and for always allowing us to come in front of you to share some details. So Chief is up at headquarters. He asked me to be here today to let you guys know what's going on from the summer. So most recently, I just want to thank all of you and our residents here in Palm Beach County. We had our MDA drive over the weekend. Fire Rescue and the IAFF has been a long supporter of MDA. And in our area, Palm Beach County, we raised just over $104,000 over the 3-day weekend. So give yourselves a round of applause for that. That's a lot of support for a great organization. Really want to just be really brief today. So Station 49, which is a little bit west and a little bit north, which is going to relieve your Station 42 for some of those calls, is up and running. The completion of the actual fire station is going to be at the beginning of the summer. For the month of August, we ran just under 13,000 calls throughout Palm Beach County. The busiest station in Palm Beach County, once again, was your Kings Point Station 45, and they ran roughly, it's like 24.2%. So 1 in every 4 calls in Palm Beach County in the month of August was run by that station. So they're very busy. If you see them, please know that they're working extremely hard. And hopefully they're tending to everything you guys need. Lastly, hurricane season doesn't end until November. November 1st, I think, to be somewhere in there. So November 30th, right? That's what I said, November 30th. So just stay vigilant in what you're doing. Don't eat all your snacks because there's no storms out there. You're going to need to get some more. Stay on top of that and make sure if you haven't already, I'm sure you guys have because you do this every year, but have your plan. Know where you're going. If you're going to go somewhere, know who you're calling and all of those things. And that's about it. Last thing, Chief Stansbury wanted me to let you know that although his Florida Gators are terrible this year, my Seminoles appear to be worse. So, thank you very much. You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Captain Keeler. And we have 3 elected officials with us today who are going to be speaking in this order. We have State Attorney Arenberg, we have Representative Joe Casello, and we have our wonderful Commissioner, Marcy Woodward. So Dave Arenberg, State Attorney Ehrenberg, would you please come up here? And it's going to be so sad to see you go. I hope we see more of you.
Dr. Lori, hey, thank you. Good morning, Delray Alliance. Good morning. Good morning. All right, I came here to sell you a new spatula. For $5, you can have the... No, I'm just kidding. I love being state attorney. I am going to be moving on in about 3.5 months. Before I start, I want to recognize Mark Freeman, my PIO. He does an outstanding job. He was passing out flyers, getting here early. He does the work, I get the credit. It's a great relationship. Thank you, Mark, for what you do. So I've been here as an elected official in this community since 2002. I know. It's been a long run. I have loved representing Palm Beach County, and in particular, Delray Beach. Delray Beach is important. Not only did I used to live here, my parents still live here, just right across the street. So this is an important community to me and always has, but always will be. I would never leave this job as state attorney unless I really believed that it would be in good hands. And we have had a lot of successes in the office. I leave it as a safe community. We've accomplished the goals we set out. We cleaned up the drug treatment industry. We have made this community a safe community for seniors and for everyone. You compare it to places around the country that are large communities, and you see the issues they are having with drugs, with gangs, with homeless, with shoplifting, with anti-Semitism. We have our issues, obviously, but we're doing a lot better job because of our partnership with law enforcement, the sheriff's office, police chiefs, and it's a community I think we have a lot to be proud of. I was in Washington, D.C. just the other day, and I was buying face soap, and I had to call the employee to unlock the cabinet for face soap, and we should never accept that in Palm Beach County. There's a reason why we live here. It is demoralizing to have to buy soap through a lock and key because the proprietor is so worried of shoplifting, of theft, that prosecutors won't prosecute up to $950. No, that doesn't happen here. We don't have Whole Foods leaving our community. We don't have goods locked behind the counter. You can be outside and feel safe, and it's a product of the hard work of our prosecutors, law enforcement, and I'm proud of that. And I would never leave this job if I didn't think that we'd have a great successor. I'm really happy where things are going. I don't want to get too political, but there's a person in the race who works in my office who is now the leading candidate for state attorney. I'm not going to mention her name, Alexia Cox. And so, so I'm very proud of that. So I'll leave you with this. I'm not leaving the community. I'm staying around. A reason why I decided to move on was after 20 plus years in government, I think it's good to have some change. It's good to start a new chapter. Also, I recently got married and I want to have children. And I hear, I don't know if this is a rumor, but I hear that children are expensive. So I'm going to be focusing a little bit of that. But I will get back into politics one day. In the meantime, I'll stay active in the community. I want to make sure Palm Beach County remains as safe as it could possibly be. I have loved representing you for the last 12 years in this job, 8 years as a state senator before that, and I will always stay around, stay involved, stay engaged, because I care too much about where we live. So thank you all so much for having me here today. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much. I'm David Aaron.
Thank you so much. We're going to miss you, and congratulations on your marriage. I did see that on Facebook. Your wife is beautiful, but I didn't want to say anything unless you did, so that's good. Congratulations. We have Representative Joe Casello. Is he here? Yes, come. Great to see you today.
Good morning, Delray Alliance. Good morning. I'm the guy that bought the spatula. That's great information. Thank you, deputies, Sheriff Bradshaw, for keeping our communities safe. Much appreciated. Folks, I don't have to tell you that's what's coming up in November. Most important election, I think, in my lifetime. We've got to make some hard decisions. And I've been in Tallahassee the last 6 years, and I can see what's happening. and it's only continues on that slippery slope. So my message to you, whatever party you, just get out and vote. Make that difference. We talk about it, we complain about it, we whine about it. There is a lot at stake this election. No matter where you stand on the issues, make your voices be heard. Get out there and vote. I'm Joe Casello. I'm your state representative for Boynton and Delray, and I'm proud to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for attending today. And now we have Commissioner Marcy Woodward with a very important message. She's going to discuss something here. And you have some flyers out there as well. Thank you for attending today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning, Delray Alliance. I guess I need to use the spatula at this point. So just wanted you to know, Christian with my office, hi, she's over here. Wave, Christian. She, I think, made the rounds this morning to let you all see this flyer. We didn't anticipate the number this morning, I think, so we ran out. This flyer, I'm not here to sell you insurance, but FEMA has dropped new flood maps on us. Earlier this year, we did do an appeal to the federal government that we felt the maps were not done, let's say, the most accurate. We know here we have the Lake Worth Drainage District. We have a lot of work that's been done in our county for 100 years to kind of manage flood. And they came in with more of like a broad strokes approach. We are working to appeal some of this. However, from what I've been told, that's a process that takes anywhere from 5 to 7 years. So we are still going to work on that. In the meantime, the new flood maps will become active December 20th of this year. The reason I'm making the rounds, this is my second breakfast this morning, and the county's working so hard to get the word out, is for anyone who does not have flood insurance right now and you don't live in a flood zone with the current maps, but you are going to be required under the maps that come on December 20th. The rate is significantly higher from what I understand. We do have on our website, there's a QR code on here. We're going to have several open houses. The closest one to here is going to be in Boynton Beach on September 11th. We're going to have 3 in the county. But it's for people to go and find out whether or not you're going to be affected by this. And I encourage everyone to check your address, because I checked mine, and my house, thankfully, we are not in a flood zone, but my neighbor across the street is. So these maps don't always necessarily make the most sense. The reason also this is important is if you are going to be required to get flood insurance, from what I understand with the questions I've asked, if you buy it before it's a requirement, I think you're maybe $500 or so, or it's a very low rate. Once it becomes a requirement, that goes into the thousands of dollars. However, if you buy it before it's a requirement, there is a cap. There's a maximum percentage that they can increase from the previous policy that you have. So I'm not an insurance expert. Hopefully maybe there are some in this room. We are going to have some at the open houses that we're hosting so that you can ask these questions. But from what I understand, the best path forward is first off find out whether or not you're going to be affected by the new maps. And then if you are, purchase the insurance before the maps become activated, and you will have a lower rate, and then I believe it's a 3 or 5% increase per year from starting at that much lower rate instead of going straight to the top of the line. And all of your residents, like I said, you could be affected and your neighbor across the street may not. South County is disproportionately, I feel, affected by this. So there's a number of communities in Boynton, Delray, and Boca that are going to be, now having a requirement to have flood insurance that did not, or that do not right now. So sorry to ramble on this. My 5th cup of coffee this morning. I think I'm trying to keep my voice down. But was there a question?
What's the website?
The website, I'm sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses.
We'll send out this information.
It's the QR code. She didn't put that on there. There's a QR code. However, we can send this email here, and we'll send the links because we did not bring enough flyers for everyone. You can't go to FEMA.org, but if you scan the QR code, it takes you directly to our government or the county government page that will give you a lot of information about this, and then there's a link on there. If you get to the part where you put your address in, I think the previous maps are somewhere like 2017 was the last time any of this was updated, and then it'll say pending. So you want to see where you are now and then what is the pending. And we did appeal, we lost the appeal, so if it shows pending that you will be in a flood zone, come December 20th, you will be required.
Well, thank you very much. We'll send this out by email when you send it to me. Okay, we'll send it to the whole...
She has a few more copies over here, if anybody would like, or if anyone has used a copy and you'd like to share with your neighbors. I apologize, we didn't bring it up this morning.
In our December meeting, the first Wednesday of December, it will be all about insurance. So maybe you can help us out with this, getting some information out that day, for that Wednesday.
And from what I understand, we've done a little bit of research. I think there's maybe a 30-day, like you have to have the policy 30 days before it's a requirement too, so it'll even be before maybe that meeting. So this is, yeah, I apologize to kind of drop this on you. I'd like to bring happier news, but if you can get in at a much lower rate and then, have to work up from there, it's better than getting hit with a large policy at the end of this year.
Thank you very much.
So there is a 30 days. Okay, so this is something that we need to be on top of now. And like I said, we have 3 meetings in September for, and please get the word out, share this with anyone, even not just in Delray, around the entire county, people need to be made aware of this.
We'll get more information out about it, and one of our earlier meetings we'll do something with that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. That was really great. Now, just before we have our main speaker, we have a commercial. Thank you so much, Affinity, for sponsoring today's breakfast. Lauren Connors, licensed CAM, is just going to give you just a little short commercial about Affinity. And we also see the information in our newsletter that we send to everybody.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Lauren Connors with Affinity Management Services. I don't know how much of a commercial this is going to be. I just wanted to come up here to introduce myself and the company. I have attended many meetings throughout the last year, and it's an honor to be here and to be sponsoring today. A little bit about Affinity. We have provided full-service, full-time on-site management to HOAs and COAs for nearly 2 decades. I'm specifically here in Palm Beach County, but we do service the Tri-County area. We're a mid-sized company, so we merge the mid-sized values with large-scale technology to form a reliable partnership, focusing on the association needs. Now for us, transparency is at the helm of everything that we do, and we're really more boots on ground than a lot of other management companies that I've seen, and we're really focusing on like the back to basics, old school values where everyone is heard, and it's about people, it's about the associations, it's not just about financials, it's about everything from top to bottom. So I'll be here in the back. If you guys need anything, please feel free to stop by.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for your sponsorship. Okay, this super important meeting. Presentation from Attorney Joshua Gerstin, who is board certified in condominium and plan development law. And he's been working in this area for 27 years. His office is in Boca Raton, and he has been the Alliance's attorney ever since the inception of the Alliance, more than 26 years ago. Joshua Gerstin, thank you for that.
Thank you, Lori. Really appreciate it. I feel a little old, 26 years, huh? All good stuff, all good. Okay, so let's get this started. Here we go. Slideshow from the beginning. All right, so it's like what the title said. It is big, but it's not all bad, and not all of it applies. For today, you can't remember everything. Nobody expects you to remember everything. Your job today is just try to remember issues. Spot the issue, then you can go back to this packet, maybe ask your own association's attorney, but trying to memorize everything is just impossible. If you enjoyed the presentation, point your phone at the QR code and give me a good review. If you don't enjoy the presentation, point your phone on the ground and take a picture. It does the same thing. Okay. All right. This is the Corporate Transparency Act. This applies both to condominiums and HOAs. This was passed by the federal government. It has nothing to do with the state of Florida. But this is very, very important. By January 1st, 2025, every community association has to have filed a beneficial ownership report with the federal government. Initially, when this came out, the fines were up to $500 a day for being late, but an eagle-eyed attendee here pointed out that due to the Inflation Reduction Act, those fines are up to around $900 a day. This is known as a beneficial ownership information report. It applies to all community associations. If you are unfamiliar with it, you need to speak with your association's attorney or possibly your association's accountant, who will probably refer you back to your attorney. If you're a client of my office, we will be sending out information to help guide you through this process. But again, most of the people that have been calling my office about this think for some reason it does not apply to them because of their not-for-profit status or just because there's no beneficial owners. That's incorrect. It does apply to all community associations. Okay, now on to some state legislation that passed. And I'm going to go over quickly what's known as Kaufman language. Kaufman language is going to help you determine whether or not new state laws apply to your community association, both condos and HOAs. When the state passes a law that applies to a community association, it may not apply to all of them because in the state constitution, there is a prohibition where the state is not allowed to interfere between a person and a contract with another person. Your declaration is considered a contract. So the state is not allowed to interfere with your contract, your declaration, unless your declaration has what's known as Kaufman language. Kaufman language came from a lawsuit in 1977. It was Kaufman versus Scheer. And what the court held is that if your governing documents say something to the effect of, we follow Florida statute as amended from time to time, okay? If your governing documents say that, then they automatically incorporate new state laws and they apply to you. However, if your governing documents do not state that, and the legislation doesn't say that it's retroactive, which it rarely ever does, then the legislation does not apply to you. Okay? So you should be looking for words such as amended from time to time to determine going forward, hey, does this apply to my or not? Okay, the first area we're going to tackle is community association managers within homeowners associations. A community association manager is required to attend at least one board meeting of the association. They also have to provide certain information, contact information, and their hours of availability. I recommend to all my clients after this law passed to send out just a blanket letter. Here's your property manager. Here are the hours of availability. Here's how you reach them. You'd be surprised it is sometimes hard for people to find contact information for a property manager. Official records. From now on, associations with 100 or more homes must maintain a digital copy on the website or on a mobile app of the association's governing documents. You should probably have this already, but if you don't, it ultimately will save time for people calling and then emailing the governing documents. Bottom line, if you have over 100 or more homes, you have to put the official records online or available on an app. Law enforcement can subpoena within 5 days official records, and that official records must be kept for at least 7 years unless your governing documents require a longer period of time. Okay, if you're subpoenaed by law enforcement, it's fairly obvious. I don't know why it needed to be in a law, but you must comply. If you have 1,000 or more lots within your homeowners association, you are prohibited from reducing your financial accounting standards. So you have audit, compilation, financial review, and then you can petition your members. You say to them, hey, this year's a little crazy and it's expensive to do an audit, can we do a compilation? The members can vote for that, but now with this new law, you can only do it once. You cannot do it consecutively, okay? And also the bill requires associations to provide accounting on demand, which I believe most associations do anyway. But this scenario that comes up is when an owner says, hey, I want to know how much is due on my ledger, almost like an estoppel letter if you're going to do a sale, but you have to produce it within 15 business days, and you can't charge for it either. Okay, there's a lot of education requirements for new directors. New directors have to take their new director course, which is 90 days after they become a director, and then they also have to take a 4-hour course. Now, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, they weren't really ready for these laws to come out, so they have just started certifying law firms for the 4-hour course and also for the course that's after 90 days of certification. So please, before you take one of these courses, you want to make sure that they actually have been approved by the department. The department has a list on their website of approved courses, and the department itself is actually offering a 4-hour course for free. So I would strongly recommend that until they get all the education requirements and everyone approved. If you go on the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, on their website, you'll see a link for the 4-hour course and the days that it's being held. Okay, let's talk about electronic voting. Yes, you can electronically vote now with homeowners associations. There's a full process that has to go on, but it is now available to HOAs. Assessments. Everybody likes to hear that word, assessments. I don't know, I don't represent any associations that are billing assessments with compound interest, but if you are, you're not allowed to do that. Okay, no compound interest on assessments that are late. Enforcement of covenants and rules. So this is one of the items that I think a lot of people are going to have problems with. A lot of my clients are already discovering. And the first is when somebody comes to the Architectural Approval Committee, the ARC, and they want to install something, they want to have a new improvement on their house, you can only reject that if it's based on an existing rule. Okay, so most people have in their governing documents, the Architectural Approval Committee can deny somebody if it's incongruous, disharmonious, and it doesn't fit within the association. That's not going to be enough. Okay, so if somebody wants to add some sort of garage extension or something that, I don't know, maybe like an extra type of architectural element, they want to maybe add something onto the back or even the front, if your rules for your Architectural Control Committee do not prohibit that, you're going to have a problem prohibiting that. And what I've told my clients when these rules were passed, when these laws were passed by the legislature is, this is going to have an impact because there's no way possible that you can fathom what somebody wants to do with their home. You just can't think of every single thing that they can and write a rule against it, and nobody wants to operate an association like that. So what I do recommend though is, what are the obvious things? What are the obvious requests that have come in year and year again that have been denied just because they don't fit in well? Maybe it's a circular driveway, or maybe it's a straight driveway, or maybe it's the way that they're doing something, they're planting trees or removing trees. Or they put a gazebo in the front, or they put a gazebo on the side, or they put fencing where they're not supposed to have, and just because no one else has it, that's just the way it's been. But now you have to have a rule about it. So I recommend going back and thinking over time, what have been the continual types of requests that have been denied, and then make a rule about those if the association doesn't want them. The association can't make any limits on HVAC, refrigerating, heating, or ventilation systems that are not visible from the front, from a common area, from a golf course, or from an adjacent parcel. Okay, so if I don't have any associations that would regulate something that can't be seen. Bottom line is, if it can't be seen from any angle, anywhere, there's no regulation that the association can pass against it. Vegetable gardens. You can have a vegetable garden and clotheslines in areas that are not visible from the front or an adjacent parcel or a common area. Okay. Fines, suspensions, and liens. This is very important because a lot of times you'll have a $100 fine and then the owner's son-in-law is an attorney, realizes there's attorney's fees involved and he gets all excited. So it's important to do them right and recognize these new changes. 14-day notice, right? This is HOA's 14-day notice to somebody that you're going to fine them. That's not new, but requires the hearing to be held within 90 days. That's new. It allows the hearing to be held by the committee by a telephone, okay, or Zoom. That's new. And it requires that written findings related to the fine be provided within 7 days of the hearing. So typically, you used to say, the board levies the fine, and then the fining committee typically approves or rejects it. Here, the fining committee is actually going to put something in writing with their findings. The fine has to be due within 30 days. It used to be 5 days, then it used to be 10 days. Now the fine is due in 30 days. And nothing can be done within those 30 days. There's no attorney's fees that can accrue, there's nothing else, no sort of collection. You send out the findings, you send out the note with the findings in it saying you were found for doing X, Y, Z, your fine is $500, $100 a day for 5 days, and then you wait 30 days. And you can't do anything until that passes, and then you can pass it on to your association attorney to start collecting on that fine. Now, if the fine is not paid on time, attorney's fees then start to accrue. You cannot fine anybody or pass a rule that requires owners to bring in their garbage cans less than 24 hours after a pickup. Okay? Less than 24 hours after a pickup. And to be frank with you, if you're roaming the streets looking for somebody who didn't pull in the garbage cans and it hasn't been 24 hours, it's a little tough. It's a little tough to begin with. Holiday decorations, though. Let's talk about those. I do have people that still have holiday decorations up, and they go on at night automatically, and they tell me they're security lights. Of course they're not. So now you have to give 1 week notice, right? So you have to have in your declaration or a rule, you have in there holiday lights can go up 2 weeks before, come down 2 weeks after. You have to give the parcel owners 1 week notice before you start enforcing against it. Okay? Oh, this is a big one. This is a big one for pickup trucks. I actually started my legal career 27 years ago suing an association on behalf of an owner that had a pickup truck. The case lasted 4 years. The owner actually won. When I checked with him 8 years later, he was allowed to keep that one specific truck. He still had the same truck in the same spot. He got rid of it, I think, 15 years later. Anyway, it's always been a sore spot. I know all about pickup trucks, and now here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that if you don't have Kaufman language, okay, and these new rules apply to you, you have to allow pickup trucks in an owner's driveway or in any area where they're allowed to park. You can't say pickup truck goes in the garage door closed. No, pickup truck is allowed to be out. Now, what about a pickup truck, though, that has, what's that called, wrapping all around it, and it's like, your wife is hot, check your AC, and it's got, and it's got all these, like, www, and it's clearly something that you may not want parked next to your home, but if it's not a commercial vehicle, if it's not the size of a Comcast truck, like a big commercial vehicle, it has to stay. Okay? So again, the writing on a vehicle, like you might have, might have somebody who loves cats, and they did 1-800-CAT sitter, and it's all around their car, and that's where they drive to and from work, or plumber. Let's say you have a plumber that has a van, but it's not a commercial van, it's not registered as a commercial van, it's not big enough. But it still is clearly a plumber's van. You can see it has no seats, has no back seats, right? It's clear, no windows in the back. Plumber's van has to be allowed to stay. I don't know why, I don't know what they were thinking when they did this, but it has to be allowed to stay. Okay, now first responder vehicles, I think that's a no-brainer. Those should be allowed anyway to stay. The public needs them, people need them. Commercial vehicle, how do you know if it's a commercial vehicle? It's registered, look at the license plate. A good guideline again is a Comcast ladder truck, FPL ladder truck, that's commercial. Okay, now as far as contractors, you cannot prohibit a contractor from coming on to the association just because he's not on a preferred vendors list. You could still require contractors to have things such as license, insurance, things like that, and prohibit them from coming on to the association because they're not licensed or they're not insured. You can definitely do that. However, if you have a preferred list of contractors and this guy's not on it, you have to let him through. Okay, I'll bring a big one. Okay, this is something interesting. This is hurricane protections for homeowners associations. Here's the bottom line on this entire page. The HOAs, just like condominiums were required, HOAs are now required to promulgate, put forth, pass hurricane specifications. And the specifications should cover standard things such as roofs, storm shutters, roll down track shutters, impact resistant doors, reinforced garage doors, things like that. Now you're probably saying, well, we're all a big home, we're all homes and we're separate, and it's, you know, I don't know what to say they can have or can have. What you need to do, and what I've been telling my clients is, put down what you definitely do not want to see. You don't want to see plywood, right? You want to make sure that hurricane shutters are rolled back after X amount of time after a storm passes, right? You don't want to have the Key West style metal roofs if that's not the style in your association. But if a Key West metal style roof is hurricane sturdy and you don't have hurricane specs, guess what? Your neighbor's going to have a hurricane Key West style roof and it's going to sound like somebody's playing pickleball every time it rains. So these are things that you should consider. Look at the main things, roof, storm equipment, and figure out what you don't want, what you definitely do not want to see, okay? And then pass a rule putting forth what you do want to see. It's basically that easy. But if you take it as a whole, it can get confusing. Just focus on the roofs, the windows, the storm shutters, the major components. Now, as a rule, you can always continually update. You should have already had these specs sent out already, so don't get caught in the weeds. If you need to update it in the future or you're not concerned, that's good, that's fine, but get something out there now and then build on it. Okay. Okay, community association managers. This is something that is very interesting, and this is going to apply to condominium associations. Condominium associations. So all my HOA clients, you can stop worrying for about 2 minutes. For condo associations, your CAMs, when you fire them, no offense Affinity, I love Affinity, I'm not talking about Affinity, because I do work with them and they are great. But when eventually a time comes when you do let go of a property manager, 20 business days to get your official records. That's brutal, okay? That's like a month and a half to get your official records from a property manager if things went south. Now, from the property manager side, they have more than one property, and if you're going to leave them putting together the records, it's not easy for them. My advice to associations is to be prepared. If you know that you're going to be terminating your property manager, obtain everything that you can over time that is in their sole control, such as owner ledgers. Owner ledgers cannot be made up from anywhere except from the accounting that's within the property management office. So accounting, owner ledgers, those are the things you can't live without for 20 business days. So just keep that in mind if you're going to be terminating your agreement with your property manager. Property manager also has to disclose any conflicts of interest, okay? And if there is a bid for an affiliated service that's $2,500 or more, the association has to send it out to bid. So for example, you might have XYZ management company that also does XYZ landscape, okay? Which is great, and it actually typically ends up in savings for an association. However, if the management company is going to be providing these extra services and it costs more than $2,500, it has to go out to bid. Okay? So they're sort of decoupling these management companies that have separate. They'll have irrigation, they'll have landscaping, they'll have roofing, all under some sort of umbrella of a management company. If it's over $2,500, they need to send out bids. If there is a conflict of interest, with a management company and a board member or a management company and an officer in the condominium association, in order to pass that contract with that management company, you need to have an affirmative vote of 2/3 of the directors. Condos, back to condos. Milestone inspections. The bill now exempts 4-family dwellings, okay? So you used to have single-family, 2-family, and 3-family dwellings were exempt from milestone inspections. Now 4-family dwellings are also exempt. They're like the quads. I don't know if there's any of them here, but those are now exempt. Official records. Let me just tell you something about official records. It seems like it's getting tougher and tougher for associations. I have law firms where there's a simple little dispute. The person hires a lawyer, they cut and paste from the statute, and they're literally asking for thousands of records over the stupidest things. And it's records sometimes that they make you put together, and they'll never come look at. It's records that they're not interested in. It's records that cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars in man hours for the association to put together. Now they're required to have a checklist. My recommendation is you obviously have to comply with these laws, but you can pass rules that make it a little bit easier for you. So you won't have the one person having the same exact request once a week, once every 2 weeks. You could limit that. You can actually make it a little bit easier on you, and I recommend that you check with your lawyer to get some rules regarding official records requests. Some of the big, sort of tip items here is, obviously you can't share this information with anyone. If you cannot find the records, you should provide an affidavit, like a good faith obligation affidavit, saying that you looked for them, you did a search, the records can't be found. You also have to respond with a checklist. So if they ask for items, 1 through 50, you would mirror that 1 through 50 and put a check. What you have, what you don't have, and why you don't have it. Okay. And of course the division will come down hard on you for that. Okay, let's see. Prohibits, okay, the next thing with the budgets, financial reserves, it's almost the same thing that we just went over with the HOAs. You can no longer consecutively go down. So if you were at an audit, then you had a compilation, condos can't do that 2 years in a row. SIRS, we've all heard about SIRS, and I don't mean ladies and gentlemen, SIRS, with structural engineering reporting, and that is required to be released 45 days after it's done. 45 days. Okay. Associations, 10 units or more for condos, must meet 4 times a year, no matter what your declaration says. I do have some small associations that meet once a year. You have to meet 4 times a year, and this new law requires that you allow members to have a question and answer portion in each one of those meetings. And usual notice for any meeting with assessments, and must now include the cost, right? The purpose of the assessments, and guess what? A copy of the proposed contract. So when we had special assessment notices, you usually say special assessment $1 million, each unit owner has to pay $1,000, let's say, something like that, because we're doing new roofing. Now, you have the same information, but you have to clip on a copy of the contract. What's interesting about that is some contracts say that they're confidential. You have to make sure that there's no confidentiality provisions in the contract, because by law, you can't abide by them. The contract has to be attached to the meeting notice. Okay, now, also for condominiums also have hurricane protection specs. Those were required over a decade ago. They've just made them more stringent, so the owners know the line between what they're responsible for and what the association is responsible for, such as maintenance and repair of exterior doors, windows, and glass. Okay, so your hurricane specifications for condominiums have to specifically state what the association is responsible for. Okay, so voting in condominiums, if you are delinquent, if you haven't paid within 90 days, you're delinquent 90 days or more, the board can suspend your right to vote. New directors of condominiums have a whole bunch of training that has to go through, just like HOAs, and it's the same thing. 4 hours, you have to have at least that 1 hour of continuing education credit, 90 days after that. And just like with the HOAs, I strongly recommend go on to the department's website, they have a course, you'll get that 4 hours done, you can contact a lawyer, make sure that they've been approved for their course, and you can get that done as well. Okay, there's going to be the condominium ombudsman no longer has to be an attorney. I don't know if anybody was able to ever reach the condo ombudsman to begin with. It was, I think it first started, it was one guy for something like 20,000 associations, but now he doesn't have to be an attorney. Okay, there's condominium units for pre-sale disclosures. So you have to make sure you have all of your questions and answers and all of your documents in a row for sales disclosures. And make sure that you have your revised question and answer sheet that everybody has to give out during a sale. Finally, the last thing here, which is actually might be some good news for people that are here with second homes. If you are here and living here and it's a non-homestead home, you may have access to a surplus line of insurance, okay, for your second home. So homesteaded properties can't have surplus lines of insurance. However, you speak with your insurance broker and let them know that, hey, this is your second home, you might have access to a surplus line of insurance, which will ultimately lower your costs. Now, I know that I went over a lot today. This is probably about 85% of all the new laws. There was that much passed. This is what I offer to everyone. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, give me 24 to 36 hours, and I will do my best to answer you. That's my promise to you. All right? So thank you very much for your attention. It's so great seeing everybody. Okay, and enjoy. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. That was so excellent. And I think that's the best way to do it, rather than have people come up here. He's willing to just take your email. If you want, I would do that. Are there any pressing questions?
Does anybody have any pressing questions? I'll be more than happy to answer questions.
Okay, yeah, you just have to come up here. You need to.
I love this stuff. Come on up.
Then we'll have the wrap.
Yeah, then we'll have the wrap. Then I actually have to get back to work.
Okay, just make a line, one person at a time. That's the best way we could do it here. And we'll go like for 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you.
Speaking.
Right over there. It's a copy of the presentation right over there and on the website.
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
The copies are gone.
Oh, the copies are gone.
We'll be sending it
Yes.
outside.
No more of these left. Obviously, we're a hot item. There was 120 printed. So Lori will send out an email with them. And Lori, I already forwarded you the email. You can just forward it around.
Great, thank you.
A situation where we're planning on doing an assessment now for a reconstruction next year.
Okay.
We have an estimate, we don't have a contract.
Okay.
What do we need to post, since we don't actually have a contract?
Your estimate, is it based on bids? Do you have bids?
We had a designer and a decorator and a contractor come in.
And what did you have bids, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it would be based on.
Thank you.
But then you would update that.
Good.
Yeah, you know, when you get the final.
Strange question, but I have a unit with 182 units, 174 HOA. Oh, sorry. I have 174 HOA units, but I have 8 condo units. Strange, so not 10. 8. Do they still have to follow the law?
Nope.
Definitely not?
Not the one that required 10, so she, yeah.
They don't have to require.
Not yet.
You have to pay a fee to the HOA too?
If they're less than 10, right? If they're less than 10, they don't have to have those 4 meetings. But that's by law. Check the governing documents, because typically the governing documents would say that you need to have a meeting at least once a year.
Okay.
Sure.
You said most things have to be amended in writing in our rules. Now, do you mean the actual documents which require a 2/3 vote, or can it just be rules and regulations that we send out to everyone?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
You said a lot of this stuff, we have to make rules for the ACB to pass.
Yes.
Does it have to be in our actual documents?
Oh, that's a good question. So the question is for their AACC or ARB community, in order to, like I said, in order to be able to reject somebody, you have to have a specific rule. And this question is, well, does it have to be a rule or does it actually have to be a declaration amendment? And the answer, unfortunately, is it depends. Most governing documents say that the ARB or the board can pass ARB rules. If that's the case, you're good. If not, it will require a declaration amendment.
I would say that the ACB can reject something based on their opinion that it doesn't.
Yeah, based on their opinion, no, it needs to be more
It
specific.
has to be more specific.
Yes.
That must be in the documents requiring a 2/3 vote.
Well, it may not have to be in the documents if you are set up like a lot of other communities where the ARB has its own set of rules.
Well, we have rules and regulations that we write to the community, and we...
Right, you would have to look in your documents and see how your ARB passes rules. So if your ARB can't pass rules and the board can't pass rules for the ARB, then it's an amendment.
Thank you.
Most likely it's a rule though, just so you know.
You know, I'm just going to interrupt one, because the raffle, and people might want to leave with the questions. I'm just going to pull one number out.
Want me to read it?
Sure.
Okay, the lucky winner is 6516103. Hey, you got a winner, chicken dinner. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, question.
We have a report that's filed under 617, financial transparency for that we
Yes.
read. Is that covers them also?
Yes.
They still have to do it, they
Yes.
have to have 4 meetings?
Yes.
Hi, our condominium association has not updated their documents since 1987. Are they obsolete? Is it anything goes, or are we still bound by them?
No. You're still, if you're a condo association, your documents don't expire. HOA documents expire after 30 years if they're not renewed. If you haven't though updated your documents just generally to follow the times, you're losing out on a lot of money. You're losing out on money, you're losing out on property value, you're just not maximizing the real estate that you have. That's the only problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, I'm a little confused about the Kaufman language.
Sure.
If you don't have Kaufman language in your present documents, does that mean that these new laws don't apply to you?
That means that an overwhelming majority of these new laws do not apply to you unless the law itself specifically states it has a retroactive application. So for example, SERS applies to everyone. If you read the beginning of SERS, it'll say something like, no matter when your condominium association was founded, this applies, then you know. But the other ones don't. The other ones will just say something like, you have to give 90 days notice or something like that. That you would know that if you did not have Kaufman language, that law does not apply. I can tell you that 95% of the condominium associations I represent have Kaufman language, and it's the inverse for HOAs. Most HOAs don't.
Thank you.
All right, no more victims. Thank you, everybody. You've been great. Love it.
Yes, and you are great. Thank you so much. Next month, folks, thank you. Next month we will have another terrific meeting. I'll try to get some of that insurance information out too, more of that. And we'll have another raffle. We're going to have a raffle every month until December 6th. So 3 more, you'll have a chance to, for only $1, you might have a chance to win 2 tickets, which are worth $70 to that luncheon. Have a terrific month, and remember, read your newsletters.